Hi there, I'm Lisa. I represent professional firefighters on the Emergency Medical Services Regulatory Board, the EMSRB. I also serve as the chair of the EMSRB Post-Transition Education Workgroup. We would like to talk to you today about the recommendations that the workgroup has forwarded to the board. First, let's look at the current process in place until March 31st, 2016. We will talk about the EMT level first, as they are the largest group in the state.
To recertify as a Minnesota EMT, you either have to complete a DOT 24-hour refresher or 48 hours of approved continuing education. Both plans also include an NREMT-style practical skills exam and CPR certification. For those of you who are nationally registered EMTs, you need to complete 72 hours of continuing education, including the 24-hour refresher, plus 48 hours of continuing education. In addition, you need to complete a Minnesota practical exam and CPR certification.
The EMSRB brought together a work group to address the end of the transition period and how to move forward. Representative stakeholders in all 8 regions, including urban and rural services, fire, and volunteer and educational institutions, met to discuss the following recertification recommendations. Our first recommendation is that the EMSRB eliminate the requirement for an NREMT-style single-day practical exam for recertifying EMTs.
The next recommendation is that Minnesota adopt the NREMT National Core Competency Program, or NCCP. All National Registry providers will be moving to the NCCP by the 2019 recertification cycle. The NCCP is a flexible approach driven by providers and current best practices and includes skill competency components. There are 3 categories of education required, totaling 40 hours for the EMT. The first is National Core Competency Requirements, or NCCR hours. Half of the total hours, or 20, for the EMT. These are determined every 4 years using national provider workgroups.
The second set are Local Core Competency Requirements, or LCCR hours, a quarter of the hours, or 10, for the EMT. These hours may be determined by state regulatory body, local medical directors, or the training officers. The last set is the Individual Core Competency Requirements, or ICCR, which are the last quarter or 10 hours for the EMT. These can be any EMS-related topic of interest to you. All of these ICC hours can be done online. Talk about flexibility.
For the paramedic level, the NCCP total is 60 hours. This is broken up to 30 hours in the national level and 15 hours each in the local and individual categories. For more information on the NREMT NCCP process, material for training officers, and other information, visit the NREMT website.
Our next recommendation is to adopt the Mark King Initiative. In simplest terms, this program allows current Minnesota providers who have ever held National Registry certification to get it back without any written or practical testing. In line with these recommendations, we have also recommended to the board that as of April 1, 2016, all current National Registry certification holders must maintain that certification going forward. Those who receive national certification after April 1, 2016 must maintain it. For those providers who choose not to regain their national certification, we have recommended a sunset date to occur in 2030. This means that providers who do not participate in the Mark King Initiative to have their NREMT card reinstated would only be able to maintain Minnesota State certification until 2030, or a date as set by the board.
On November 19th, 2015, this workgroup presented these recommendations to the board. They requested that we seek feedback from providers and develop a communications plan. The recommendations were tabled until the January 21st, 2016 EMSRB meeting. All of these recommendations are for recertification only. Initial certification remains unchanged. Thank you from the workgroup.